Welcome everyone to a journey deep into the hidden world of one of Earth's most successful species, ants. We see them everywhere, marching in lines. But what do we really know about them? Today, we're uncovering the incredible secrets of ant colonies. And trust me, it's a world more complex and fascinating than you could ever imagine. Let's start with a rather morbid, yet highly organized, aspect of ant society: death. When an ant in a colony dies, its body isn't just left to decay. Other ants will promptly carry the deceased out of the nest. This isn't just about keeping things tidy. It's a crucial sanitation measure to prevent the spread of diseases. And while any worker ant can perform this duty, there's often a designated undertaker, a specialist in corpse removal. It's like having a dedicated funeral director for the colony. Now for something truly mind-bending: reproduction. Deep in the Amazon, there's a species of ant where the queen doesn't need a male. She reproduces asexually, creating perfect genetic copies of herself. Think about that, a colony of clones. Researchers believe this incredible ability might have come from a surprising source, a type of fungus that these ants have been eating for over 80 million years. It seems their diet literally re-engineered their entire reproductive strategy. Ants are famous for their organizational skills, but did you know these skills aren't A worker ant isn't born knowing how to forage, guard the nest, or care for the young. They have to be taught. Yes, ant colonies have schools. Teacher ants guide the younger generation, showing them the ropes for specific jobs. And just like in our schools, not everyone is a star student. If a young ant struggles to learn a task and fails its tests, it doesn't get kicked out. Instead, it gets reassigned to a different job, something that doesn't require such specialized skills. It's a system of vocational training that ensures everyone contributes in a way they can. Perhaps one of the most astonishing things about ants is that some species are farmers. Long before humans ever planted a seed, tiny ants were cultivating their own food. They grow mushrooms in dedicated gardens inside their nests. And they're not just planting. They're also managing pests. These ants use their own special pesticides to fight off parasites that could ruin their crops. Scientists have identified at least 5 distinct agricultural systems among different ant species. It seems they even share farming secrets, passing on techniques to improve their yields. How do they keep their gardens so clean? The ants have a built-in advantage. The bacteria living on their cuticles, their outer shells, act as a natural herbicide and disinfectant, preventing weeds and harmful parasites from taking over their mushroom farms. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship. Other species, like wood ants, get creative with construction. They mix tree resin into their nests, which actively hinders the growth of bacteria and fungi. Then there are the lemon ants, who build their nests in trees and produce a powerful natural herbicide that kills all competing plants in the surrounding area, creating a devil's garden with only their host tree left standing. Beyond farming plants, some ants are ranchers. They don't raise cattle, but they do tend to herds of aphids and caterpillars. These smaller insects secrete a sweet, sugary liquid called honeydew, which the ants love to eat. Just like human ranchers, the ants protect their livestock from predators. They'll fight off ladybugs and other threats to keep their aphids safe. They even move their herds to better pastures when food is scarce, when it's time to collect the honeydew. The ants gently milk the aphids using their antennae to stimulate the release of the sweet sap. If the ant colony decides to move, they don't leave their herd behind. They carry their precious aphids with them to the new home. The ant world isn't all farming and ranching, though. It's also a world of intense warfare. When ant colonies clash, it's brutal. They employ sophisticated tactics depending on the enemy they face. Some ants can even use chemical warfare, disrupting the enemy's communication signals. This causes chaos in the opposing army, turning them against each other in a state of complete confusion. And just like in some parts of human history, the ant world has slavery. Not all ants are diligent workers. Some species have evolved to rely entirely on the labor of others. To get slaves, these ants raid neighboring colonies. Not to kill the adults, but to steal their pupae, the ant equivalent of babies. They bring these pupae back to their own nest, and when the new ants hatch, they are enslaved from birth, forced to work for their captors for their entire lives. One of the most extreme examples is a species called Polyergus breviceps, this slave-making ant. These ants are completely helpless on their own. They can't feed themselves, care for their young, or even clean their own nest. Their entire existence depends on slave labor. When they attack another colony, they release a spray of formic acid. This chemical induces sheer panic, causing the defenders' lines to crumble, allowing the raiders to waltz in and steal the pupae with ease. But ants aren't just masters of war. They can also be healers. In East Africa, warriors of the Maasai tribe have a traditional and ingenious way to stitch wounds. If a warrior gets a deep cut, they find some large army ants. They hold an ant over the wound and let it bite down, clamping the edges of the skin together with its powerful mandibles. Then, they twist off the ant's body, leaving the head in place as a natural, organic suture. We've talked about how ants learn, but what about how long they live? We often think of insects as having very short lives, a few days for a fly, a few hours for a mayfly, but ants break that mold completely. While a typical worker ant might live for a few months, the queen is a different story. Queen ants can live for decades. The record holder is the queen of a species called Paganomyrmex oehe, who can live for an astonishing 30 years. She spends her entire life laying eggs, founding and sustaining a massive dynasty. Finally, let's talk about strength. You've probably heard that ants are strong, but the reality is staggering. An ant can lift and carry objects 50 times its own body weight. To put that in perspective, that's like an average human lifting 2 cars. But their true strength comes from teamwork. When a single ant can't move something, they call for backup. Working together, a group of ants can move enormous objects, coordinating their efforts with remarkable efficiency. Pound for pound, ants are truly the strongest creatures on the planet. From their complex social structures and agricultural practices to their brutal wars and incredible longevity, the world of ants is a universe of its own, hidden right beneath our feet. The next time you see an ant marching by, remember that you're not just looking at an insect. You're looking at a farmer, a soldier, a teacher, or maybe even a rancher. All part of a civilization that has thrived for millions of years. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the ant colony. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the wonders of the natural world. See you next time.